Copenhagen is designed for life. Seated on and surrounded by the waterfront, it mixes modern architecture with rich tradition, as well as meeting the needs of residents and visitors from all over the world. One of the most famous Danish architects of all times is Jørn Utzon, who created the Sydney Opera House. The primary theme of Utzon's work abroad and at home is creating things for people. This focus is reflected in much of Danish architecture and shapes the urban planning and development of Copenhagen. The capital of Denmark is cosmopolitan and cozy at the same time, mixing stringent lines with organic structures and spaces created for movement and living. The harbour and city beaches are so clean you can swim in them. And of course, the bicycles of Copenhagen are visible anytime and everywhere. The city being planned and constantly redesigned to make the way easy and comfortable for all cyclists. The keyword of this highly modern capital is livability.
I see this livability label on Copenhagen as something which has much to do with Copenhagen's policies through many years to take increasing care of the people in the city. They do a lot for pedestrians and public life, and they do a lot for bicycling. The words public space and livability, to me, they are closely linked, because in a livable city, you need to have good public spaces where you can meet your fellow citizens, where you can enjoy the life and see what's going on, where cultural events can take place. I do think that also good public spaces is a very important factor for democracy.
The inviting outdoor spaces of Copenhagen are numerous, also featuring new design concepts, such as the award-winning Red Square along with the Black Market. The residents around these innovative areas contributed to the shaping and livable feel of these spaces, in the democratic spirit that is a key element in modern Danish architecture and design. Democratic design in Denmark is founded by a range of designers, among which several have reached international icon status, such as Arne Jacobsen, whose architectural work, as well as furniture design, plays an essential role in Danish surroundings outside as well as indoors. In the center of Copenhagen, the Radio House is an icon of Danish modern architecture. Designer Finn Juhl contributed to the interior, and all of his designs stay contemporary in the true spirit of Danish modern, as does the furniture of Hans Wegener, still crafted by the same family.
Everything Hans Wegener designed and produced through the years, we use natural material. We use wood, we use wool, we use only sustainable material. This is one of our prides, that we can continue with the quality and the material that Wegener subscribed for us and wanted us to use.
In Design Museum Denmark in central Copenhagen, all the Danish modern icons are on display, alongside designers of today such as Kasper Salto, Louise Campbell, Hay, Norman Copenhagen, and Muto. The new designers all draw on elements of the Danish classics, often adding a colorful and humorous approach. As the feeling and the democratic take of the Danish modern era is reflected in much of today's design, it is also recognizable in the city's buildings.
Design can be democratic in the way that each design decision is informed by the concerns of the people that are going to be using it or inhabiting it. The 8 House and the VM House on the mountain, they look different because they perform differently. What we've tried to do is try to make buildings that create certain opportunities for human life. So in that sense, it's almost like using the architecture as an infrastructure for socializing.
The Danish democratic line of design is manifested on many levels and even comes in the shape of a bowl, designed by the uncle of the Queen of Denmark. He named it after his royal niece, and it is found in almost every Danish home. The fact that Denmark is one of the world's oldest monarchies characterizes much of the capital. In Copenhagen, you find the Queen's Palace as well as several other formal royal residences, numerous nobility mansions, and the royal dockyards. Their surroundings provide some of the favorite spots for relaxing and celebrating in the city, as do the setting of the town's first warehouses from the 18th century when trade flourished. Classic architecture and the many towers of Copenhagen meet contemporary shaping around the city, in the old as well as many new and redesigned spaces, many of which are climate and environmentally friendly.
We are working a lot with sustainability, but also sustainability very much taken from a human angle and not so much a technical kind of perspective. In the building design we are doing, we always emphasize the human perspective as the most important, and we create spaces around that kind of idea of a human being in a naked space informed by daylight. That's the starting point for all projects.
As Danish architecture is meant to contribute to the vibe and life of the city and everyone in it, Danish design is for living in at home and about town.
To the Dane, design is a question of fusing materials with function, always keeping the person in focus. So we're not into, it's not typically Danish to be big or bold. We always start with a very, very small, how does something feel to touch? How does it feel to use? Is it restful to the eye? Very, very, very simple needs, and then from there on we can build on. But we don't necessarily do so.
Traditional and always contemporary, vibrant and moving, drawing on tradition, the look, shape and cosmopolitan vibe of Copenhagen is parallel to the movement in Danish design and architecture of the past, of today and the future.